We are bedeviled by the mysteries of creation.
Overwatch's latest hero, the biotic specialist Moira, is now playable on the game's PTR, and I've been trying her out, which if I'm honest has mostly meant joining quick play games and being just a little bit too slow when trying to select her. But after some perseverance, I have managed to put some time into this unusual hybrid of healing and damage dealing, and I think she's a really interesting character. From a gameplay point of view, she's easily one of my favourites amongst the post-launch heroes. So with that in mind, here are some things I think are worth knowing about this new character. Number 1, first up, Moira is a frontline support hero that excels during teamfights. That's really the core of what you need to know about her. She's at her best when there's a whole bunch of other heroes from both teams clustered together in front of her. And why is that? Well, first of all, her primary heal is a spray and works in a similar fashion to, say, Mei's Frost Blaster, which means it doesn't just heal a single target at a time, it'll heal every friendly player it touches. So if you're using it and there are 3 or 4 teammates in front of you, the healing potential here is massive. The same can be said of her biotic orb ability, with both the healing and damage orbs having the potential to hit multiple targets at once. Then there's her ultimate, Coalescence, which sees Moira conjure a powerful, longer-range beam that both heals allies and damages enemies, passing through each of them and potentially hitting multiple targets at the same time. Yeah, you really want this hero around during a big team fight. She can be exceptionally useful. Number 2, which is why, like most healers, Moira is probably going to be one of the first heroes the other team will want to kill. Yet at present, despite her relatively low HP, Moira isn't easy pickings, and that's down to 3 separate factors. Her primary attack heals her as she does damage, she can use her own healing orbs to keep herself topped up, and finally, her fade ability allows her to consistently escape fights and get out of trouble. It leaves a slight trail behind when you use it, but so far, I haven't seen many players that have been able to keep up with it. This ability in particular is something Blizzard are going to be keeping a close eye on come launch, as Assistant Game Director Aaron Keller told me at this year's BlizzCon.
A lot of times she might be the last to die in a lot of team fights, and there's something really cool about that, being able to rely on your support to kind of keep your team up. But it could be that her survivability is actually one of the things that might need to be addressed once we release her to the server. So that's probably the thing, at least that's probably the thing that we're expecting to have to address, if there is anything we have to address. You never know. Yeah, it could be perfect, right?
Number 3, I think it's fair to say that Moira is going to have a high skill cap. One area we're likely to see that will be in the way in which really good players take advantage of nearby terrain when using Biotic Orb. This is because when an orb makes contact with a wall or the floor or any physical terrain, it bounces off it, which means if you're in an enclosed environment, you can really get a lot of value out of this ability as it ricochets all over the place and keeps healing or damaging until it expires, which I think at present is around the 10-second mark. You can also carefully bounce them around corners to reach enemies or allies not currently in your line of sight, and yeah, this takes some practice, but I think it's one of the ways that decent Moira players will really be able to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. Number 4, speaking of these orbs, it's also worth knowing that the healing variant slows down dramatically when healing multiple targets, so it can still be really useful when there's a tight group of friendly players who need your help, but you don't have anything to really bounce off. The more targets, the slower it moves, so chuck it right in the middle of them and you'll still be able to do a lot with just a single orb. This isn't the case for the damage version, by the way, which travels at a consistent pace no matter how many targets it's currently hitting. Number 5, Moira is a super bursty hero. Although she is indeed a frontline support character, playing her effectively is usually about diving in, doing a bunch of stuff and then activating Fade to escape when you start drawing too much attention. Moira's primary heal, although great for the reasons we've already discussed, has a limited amount of juice, which then recharges over time or more quickly if you're using your primary attack, and likewise, when your Biotic Orb is on cooldown, you're just a lot less useful to the team in that moment, and so it's worth knowing when to step back for a moment, and when to jump back in and be bursty all over again. Number 6, I've seen the argument made that Moira is a natural support hero for players that tend to pick DPS characters, and I think there's probably some truth to that. She relies on a lot of the same skills that Tracer or Sombra require, primarily in the way that you position yourself, and so importantly, how you escape a fight when you need to, using her Fade ability. That being said, Moira's damage potential is not on par with those characters, and I do worry that some players will try to play too aggressively with her and forget that she is in fact a hybrid character. In fact, while we're on that topic, I'm still not sure how I feel about team compositions relying on Moira as a primary healer instead of a Mercy or a Lucio or a Zenyatta. Can that work? Maybe, but I think most setups are going to find her more useful as the second support in a group. It just makes more sense for a hybrid in my eyes. What do you think? And number 7, finally, this is perhaps a small detail to some of you, but as Moira is Overwatch's first Irish character, it's been really great to see that she has a legit Irish name with great voice acting, and wonderfully, she's got appropriately Irish voice lines, like these ones.
What an interesting hypothesis. Are you finished? You're a chancer. What are you on about? The state of you.
Now there's plenty of Irish characters in video games, of course, but so many of them are based on stereotypes rather than anything particularly authentic. So yeah, good on you, Moira. And good on you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, hope you found some of that useful, because Moira's probably going to be on the live servers very, very soon if she's not already by the time you watch this video. And yeah, we were at BlizzCon recently. Here's some stuff that we did there, which you can check out. If not, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.